Starting the recording, we shall go live. Hey, hi afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my live streaming. And today I will be showing you how to repair the faulty Samsung S10 Plus. Alright, so here's the background of the damage. Alright, so this my friend actually passed me over her damaged phone. So what happened is that she dropped her phone frontwards to the hard ground, and apparently she's using this type of hard casing. So you can see this hard casing unfortunately doesn't protect you against the dropping onto the hard surface, and because of that it damages the front screen, as you can see here, and damage quite bad, and even put your fingernail inside, right? As well as the back. So this is also the corner that was broken off, and of course this is damage as a result. Thankfully this glass on the camera is not damaged, so I will be reusing this later during the back cover replacement. Okay, so of course the screen itself doesn't work anymore, and I have and the touch doesn't work as well. So I have to use the adapter to control the phone and turn it off. And this hardcover, I'll recommend you to get the silicone cover. So let me just grab one. So this is the silicone cover which I recommend. All right. So anyway, this is my S10 phone, and you can see that this is actually much more softer. It has this additional rubber bumper at the sides. And the good thing about this additional bumpers is that if you drop at a corner, it will absorb the shock. And furthermore, whenever, let's say if I take pictures, it's much more easier to hold this way and take pictures, right? So before I proceed with the repair, okay, what's going to happen? You'll come in 3 stages. The first stage, of course, is to heat up the back and remove the back cover, so I can actually perform a transfer of this portion here against this one. Because what I found is that this back replacement cover, right, is cheaply made. Actually, this is not the glass cover, but it's more like acrylic cover. And furthermore, this this back glass, right, apparently it's not glass, but it's also acrylic. You can see that once I push it, it's able to come off very easily. Thankfully, I have this, the adhesive, the S10 Plus full set adhesive. Right, so anyway, I've taken this out, so later I can place it over here. So this full set not only includes the back adhesive, even though this has already got the back adhesive, but it also contains the front adhesive. So later on, when I replace the OLED display, right? So this is the replacement OLED display. So this is how it looks like. Right, so you can see that this is the current damaged one, haven't removed yet, and this is the one which I will be replacing over. So which means it involves heating up this portion, removing the damaged one, before replacing it with this fellow over here. So this will take quite a while, which is why I'm going to do it in 3 parts. First part is removing and removing and replacing the back cover. Of course, second part is definitely removing the broken screen, and the third part is basically pasting the adhesive and pasting the new screen, testing it out, and finish it off by replacing all over. The most time taken would definitely be removing of the old adhesive glue. which is why I actually prepare the isopropyl alcohol in here, so that this process will basically, what I do is remove off the old adhesive before pasting over the new one. Because if you were to just paste over the new adhesive or over the old one, it's not going to stick well. All right, and of course, we do need some tools like this one later on. This you know I'm going to use this mainly for removing the front screen. These guys as well. These are the kind of like plastic pigs. This to hold it in place while I remove the back or the front screen. Screwdriver. This one is a flathead screwdriver. I may not be using this because I'll be following the instruction on iFixit that doesn't need to remove the motherboard, battery, etc. But of course, I do need this, guys. You can either take this or this. Right, so this is to disconnect the battery connector as well as the display connector. Uh, this comes useful. Playing cards in case let's say I couldn't get this into the cover, I can use this to slot in and try to slice through the adhesive. And this tweezer in case if the screw doesn't want to come out. But I don't think I'll be using this for now. Perhaps later on if there's a need to. And of course, most important, SIM injector tool. I'll recommend you to basically remove the SIM card before starting any repair. All right. And yep, and of course, the hot air blower. Even though technically speaking, you can use a hair dryer, but this would be better because it focuses the hot air towards the specific portion. Okay, so let me put this aside. Prepare the tools that you need. And if you're not sure, you can go to ifixit.com, search for your S10 Plus guide. So let me just switch it over. And in here, you can see that under the S10 guide, there's plenty of user guide. They also have a S10 battery replacement, etc. Today we shall focus on this one. And in this steps, they also touch on how to remove the back cover. So suction, yes. Let me just get the suction part. So me wondering how do I get all these tools? So sometimes when you get the replacement screen, most of them might give you this all these little additional tools, so it's easier for you to repair it. There are actually a few cases where they might not provide you all this, and then you might have to get it yourself. Right, so I will not be putting this here first. I'll heat up the bag first. And let me see anything else. In case, let's say, if you're not sure, let me switch it back. All right, so just repeat again. I will not be putting this over and heating up because these are plastic. It will melt. Instead, I'll be heating the side first before I put this on and try to pull it open. And if let's say you're not experienced or this is your first time doing so, right? I'll suggest you get this kind of like a infrared thermometer, right? So that while you're heating, you can actually just monitor to see how hot it is. I think about 70, 80 degrees would be perfect to soften adhesive. For a few minutes before you can actually start to put it and pull open. Okay, so let us begin. I shall put this aside. So, okay, I think that's about time. Let's begin. So they said apply a suction cup to the back of the phone as closer to the center of the right edge somewhere here. And this basically will take a lot of tries before we can get this out. Okay, looks a lot simpler to open because this is actually quite old phone. And you can see the adhesive, a lot of the S10s, as including mine, the adhesive actually become softer and deteriorate after a while. In fact, they will give off a very kind of like gluey, nasty smell. Which is why what I did to my other friends Note 10 Plus is to actually clear off this old adhesive before putting in a new one. Okay, so good other good thing is that it comes off relatively easy, and you can see in the original back cover, right? They have this kind of like a thermal sticker here. Of course, it's optional if you want to kind of transfer this over to here. But my key focus would be getting this fella over to here. Of course, later on, right, we might have to clean the inside of the lens, depending. Right now, I'm not going to do so. In fact, I'm just going to remove this. You can see this is way too easy to remove. All right. So anyway, this out already. And what I'm going to do, I'll see if this is removable. Because the adhesive doesn't seem strong for this guy here. So usually for third party, replacement parts, right? Some of the parts may not be as good as the original, which is why I choose to kind of transfer some of the components over to the others. For this case, it is the original glass, camera glass over to here. So, yep, it tears off very cleanly. Of course, let's say if you want to get rid of the old glue, so far I don't see any like, major old glue here. If you're a bit more picky, you can actually choose to get this cotton buds. Put a bit of isopropyl alcohol here. It is a bit too much. And basically just wipe it around it. So nothing major here. I think the more concerning is basically transferring this over. I'm very careful not to touch the, the glasses here in order not to do double work. If I say touch the glass here, it's fine because later I can use isopropyl alcohol to just wipe it off. So I will just heat up this area here to soften it and try to push it up. Right, so you can see it comes off very easily. And yeah, we can see that this adhesive is still on this old glass. So right now, I will just put in more alcohol here so to wipe off the old adhesive. So depending on the situation, you might, sometimes you might be able to get all of them off, but most of the time, sometimes it's not really possible to get everything off. So, but at least I think to make sure there's no stickiness residue left over, I think that will be good enough. Because you need a clean area uh, to stick the new adhesive over. I think also in the meantime, try not to get too much alcohol onto the glass lens, because this might also dissolve the adhesive that is pasting the glass onto the uh, the lens frame. So in this process, it can be quite nasty feeling, because all these you can see the adhesive starting to come off. So it can get very, very sticky, very, very gooey. So this is something to take note of while you're doing so. Not everyone will be comfortable doing this process. And also, not many repair shops will do this process for you, because they have actually a high turnover. So which is why they need to get this done as quick as possible. So sometimes they might even skip doing all this cleaning off the old adhesive and just paste over a new one. But of course, the best way is still to do it slow and steady way, removing the old adhesive so that it sticks better on new one. Do take note that repaired phones, right? Even though you may be using the best adhesive or even third-party ones, but it may not have the uh, water resistance. So, once you have your phone repaired, please, in fact, if your phone is quite old, where the adhesive is already, deteriorated, I would not recommend you to bring it to a rain or into the swimming pool, because the water might damage the components inside. So you can see it's still quite sticky. Here's the metal contact pad. Let's put it on. So in the meantime, do let me know if you guys have any Samsung phones that you wish to repair. I've done repairs on the Samsung S8 series, including the Note 8, the Note 9, the S10 series, the S20 so far. So if you have any, like let's say you have a back cover coming off issue, you can let me know. if you have a damaged screen, we can let me know how it is damaged so I can get a replacement for you. No, the friend of mine, what she does, I mean, she already had a new phone after this S10 Plus damage. So, no, for her getting a replacement screen, she may not need a perfect one. Basically, what this replacement screen looks like later on is basically a screen with a dark patch around somewhere around the corner. So, for this case, it's actually much more cheaper than the back one. Of course, not everyone is able to accept this dark patch. So you'll see later on that whether you think it's worth the saving cost to repair. So you can see all this little glue is is coming off. Uh, it's hard to explain, but it's actually quite uh, nasty. So in fact, later on, I will also be cleaning the area around it, cleaning off all this old glue. Uh, I believe they might be using a slightly different one. But my focus is basically not to remove everything, but to just get rid of the sticky surface. Because based on my past experience, it's impossible to remove every part of it. Yeah. So now you have noticed it is much more cleaner compared to the beginning. Even though it's not going to totally remove it, but at least the sticky part is gone. In the meantime, of course, letting the alcohol dry so we can bring it over to the new bag. I do not suggest using a tissue paper to to get rid of the sticky part directly onto the any of the phone components. But for now, because I'm just going to do a clean wipe down here, I can just use some isopropyl alcohol and just wipe it out. It's actually very nasty here. Of course, if it is possible, all right, you can also get this 3M cloth, microfiber cloth. So it actually takes in more dirt than your normal cloth. I just want to do a quick inspection to see the underneath, make sure it's not dirty. It should look okay to me. I try my best not to touch the underneath, but for here it's okay. So I'll say generally it looks good. Let's take the new one here. Alright, so just a quick reference. In case I say you've forgotten which is which, right? Yeah, you can actually like mirror it and just, let's say for example, you do not know which way is which, so you can, based on this one, this is the back, and this is how it tallies here to here, and it looks something like this. The second way, let's say if you know don't want to see here, you can also take a reference here. So this O1, you can see the adhesive is it's here. You have a pattern. So based on it, you can align this accordingly. Right now, I'm going to stick this over here, right? So for this one, you have the clear plastic. Remove the clear plastic first. Ensure that there's no dust debris around here. And then we can align this, turn off the fan. So something like this is the closest I can get to. Let's say if you can't do it right, you can remove and redo. However, I think to me, I think this is good enough. If you want, you can get this spudger and just go around it to secure it down. Okay, so once this is secured down, and more or less it's be okay, then you can pull it off. And so let me just pull this out a bit. And this is the over. Alright, so looks good. Sometimes an optional step, some people might use a heat gun to just heat it up around it and press it down further so that it's more secure. You can do that, no worries. But do note that try not to heat up too much. You know the rubber, I would say this rubber thingy might actually get crumpled or might get damaged because of the high heat. So yeah, looks good. For you can see, right, there's actually quite a lot of the markings here, which actually which are the glue residues. Later on, I shall use the isopropyl alcohol and cloth and just wipe it down. As of now, I'm just going to leave it as it is. So this is the first part, and proceeding on, we shall use this later once we replace the screen. Proceeding on, this is going to be quite a tedious process. Try not to touch the cameras, and basically right now I'm going to uh, use isopropyl alcohol to get rid of the residues. If you want to play it safe, you can also disconnect the battery. That depends. I think for now, I will try to be very, very careful not to touch the power button to turn on the phone. Right, so let's do this to move the adhesive and control the alcohol. Don't put too much. So just be prepared. This might get more stickier than the very first one. The good thing about doing this process is that later on, let's say if you do need to remove the the parts, the stickiness will not get into the components. So which is why sometimes even though this may be a long process, but it is a good practice. So in case if you accidentally touch the lens, right, I would suggest getting a spectacle microfiber cloth to wipe down the lens. If let's say the stickiness is on the lens, then you might also have to put some isopropyl alcohol to wipe off the stickiness. So for the metal contacts, if you realize, right, the metal contacts actually came off just now. These two here. Even though this may not be critical, just show you, right? So these two pieces actually came off while I was doing the camera glass just now. I'll put it aside and probably try to restick it later on. But I don't think it's actually critical for that. So you see it's quite a lot of adhesive around this plastic area. But let's carry on. Just the key thing is to remove all these things aside first. Then we worry about the plastic part. So just be very careful not to let uh, the residue of the adhesive get into these buttons here on the side. Quite nasty. You're definitely going to use quite a number of these cotton buds and drinking alcohol. So do leave down in the comments, what Samsung phone do you use, and what's your favorite part of of the ones that you're using. If you ask me what's my favorite one, I would say is the S10 series. So the one that I specifically use right now is S10, the smaller one, because I like the screen size, and it is the last phone that has a headphone jack. And the built-in speakers are actually wonderful. It has a very good bass, so which is why I prefer the older S10s over the newer series. And nowadays they even remove the expandable micro SD card reader. So it's a shame, but I guess this is a direction that they are moving towards to. Still have plenty more of adhesive to deal with here. So the reason why they actually put quite a lot of adhesive, during the manufacturing process is to make it as waterproof as possible. But of course, you see that actually the adhesive do wear off after a while. So the S10 actually, the S10 Plus is already like 3 years, more than 3 years old. So naturally, this will, the adhesive may not work well. So in case if you ever want to attempt to repair a phone by yourself, right, do make sure that you have the right tools at your disposal. Preferably if you have no experience in repair of any other devices, because most of the devices are, for example, you have repaired laptop before, an old laptop. So there are some things that might be more familiar to you, like for example the motherboard, the RAM, etc. So for this case, it's actually the main board and the subboard. If you do not have the experience to repair devices, I would suggest you actually refer to YouTube. If let's say you really want to do it by yourself, make sure this is not your primary device. Just because you want to save money, there's always a risk of breaking things if you were to do it by yourself. So in case you guys are wondering what is this, right? Um, this is actually a heart rate monitor. It's not a camera. So like there are some apps where you can turn on the heart rate monitor. You put a finger here while it flashes. And after a while, it'll show you the heart rate readings. Um, this apparently I think only the S10 series have this. So even though it's still quite sticky, but at least the main residues has been removed.
So I might have to excuse myself later to wash my hands. So if like what you see here right now, right? If you can get this adhesive off the corners of the phone, that would be the best. Because the adhesive that's provided later on mainly focuses on sticking the corners. So by the way, isopropyl alcohol is the properties of isopropyl alcohol is different from water. So in a way, it does not cause damage to the electronics. However, it's always good to let it dry before repasting or reattaching the device, the components. You see, quite disgusting. You have so much around it. So as for the replacement parts, you can get it at Shopee or AliExpress or sometimes even Taobao. Uh, of course, you would also make sure that check the reviews first before buying them, and make sure there's a chance that you can still opt for refund if there's any issues with the components received. So for mine, I do encounter a situation where I got the wrong replacement part, and because of that, I have to spend the additional trouble to you know send it to SingPost, pay another $10 to ship it back to China. These are the additional, you cost additional money, additional time to send it back just to process the refund. So yeah, there's always the downside of doing the best by yourself. Okay, so I will just give you a short break. Be right back.
Okay, so this is close to 1 hour. I shall stop the streaming for now and we'll come back to it later. All right, so see you guys later on the second half. Bye.